So we have right now a generation of people that are all in their 80s still out there doing explosive demo because that art has never been taught to the new generation.
People watch all these cool videos online and they say, oh, that's brilliant, I'd love to do it. They don't realize that they can.
I'm looking for you to step up. You're looking at the new A-team.
The recent European Demolition Association convention in Venice brought the demolition world together. Even though it was billed as a European event, delegates travelled from as far afield as Argentina and Japan, Canada and the United States to attend. But that coming together wasn't limited purely to the wider industry. The event marked the amalgamation of Dykon Demolition, Precision Blasting Services and Academy Blasting under a single banner known as DetX. And at the same time, DetX announced the formation of a Transatlantic joint venture with Alford Technologies right here in the UK. In an exclusive interview, we caught up with Dr. Anthony Konya and Ron Gilbert, both of DetX, and Roland Alford of Alford Technologies to find out more. And I started out by asking what had brought them all together.
I think it's a shared interest in improving the explosives industry one piece at a time. We see a lot of new technology on the forefront of this industry. Additionally, with that, the European marketplace, I think we are looking to improve the demolition front there in the explosives felling industry particularly. We're battling supply chain issues, which Alford has been instrumental in helping overcome. We're battling this idea of pre-weakening structures versus safely bringing them down using explosives, which a lot of that is relying on the supply chain and the difficulties moving explosives. And so I think at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do is put together the top team in the world to go and tackle these difficult explosive challenges.
So Alford Technologies, we're an explosive technology company, so we do all sorts of things, a lot of defense stuff and for security and things like that. And also we make equipment, and then we do the demolition. But to really focus on it properly and to make sure that, you've really got to be on top of your game whenever you're doing a demolition, and to make sure that we always do that and have that infusion of technology. We were already working, I knew Ron for several years, and we were working together, and we just realized, actually, this is a perfect opportunity. With the transition from Dykon to DetX and the new acquisition, they were looking at expanding globally. We already have a bit more of a global sort of perspective. We've always been talking about building an A-team. Ron's expression, build that A-team, and we thought, let's do this, let's do it properly. One company can't just do things in isolation, one or two people. Grow the expertise, and talking about legacy, sort of how do you extend the legacy and get the next generation through. It's not by one person or one small company keeping everything and trying to do everything themselves. It's about collaboration, partnership, and when we started talking about it, we just realized this is the obvious thing to do, the natural thing for us all to do.
It's time. This is our time in the industry and in our application, our group, our team, and absolutely, we're striving to build a better, safer explosives industry.
I think the other thing about the explosive demolition space that's often not properly put out front is in many cases we are actually the safer alternative and we're the better alternative for the community. Would you rather have 5 to 10 seconds of a loud bang and a structure coming down, or 6, 8, 12, 28 months of constant hammering day in and day out, trucks rolling out of there? On top of that, when you're starting to put people in these structures, the demolition industry is complex. We're one of the first design demo explosive companies out there where we can come in, hit the boots on the ground, figure out the structure, put a game plan in place, and actually bring that structure down safely. And the way that we're going about it, keeping structural integrity and then doing the demo part, it gives us the ability to actually produce a safer product than putting man underneath a structure or around a structure that at any time could collapse.
We're in a position to advance and improve. We're also in a position, more importantly, to say no. We will stand and say no. We do not need to be involved in this situation. No, there are safer alternatives, but you need to look at other applications. We will make that commitment to our clients, our customers, and our community to not only say, yes, we can, but no, we won't.
I think Ron's done well over 100 boiler houses. Dykon have done over 500 boiler houses. And when you just think about those numbers, count how many boiler houses there are in the whole of Europe. And one company has done that over 50 years. And it's evolved, and it's constantly evolving. It's not that they worked out 50 years ago how to do it and hasn't changed. They just keep doing it in the same way. It's constantly evolving. Ron and I are always sort of throwing ideas backwards and forwards. How can we do this better? How about trying this, try that? And so it's that's a willingness to learn and adapt and improve, because it's all about constant improvement. You know, that's the tenet of all the ISO standards, is like constant improvement. And that's what we try to do every day. And that just makes things safer and better, and tells us when, you know, we don't want to be working with those people because they're not saying the right things, and it just doesn't sound right. And having that confidence and the experience to know the difference and always be there and be the safe ones.
We're here to grow people. Our objective is not to just keep our information at chest. We want to open it up and share that because of the legacy that we came through 50 years. James Redyke is 83 years old. How many people in this industry, in this world, work in their 80s on a job like that? We've got to educate and bring people up, and that's the objective.
I think the other part, you know, one of the goals, and this is what Ron's alluding to, is the transition piece. So we have right now a generation of people that are all in their 80s still out there doing explosive demo, because that art has never been taught to the new generation. There has not been people brought up. And so what we're seeing is a dying breed, both in the US, in Europe, and across the world, of people that have this expertise that have not been able to effectively transfer it or hand it down. So one of the things we're looking to do is to be able to put this team together that's not just the experts like Ron, but it's also new people coming in. It's learning the space and it's understanding. More so than that, though, we pride ourselves on our engineering capabilities and the abilities to do the design demo work. We don't take a one-size-fits-all approach. We don't do a cookie-cutter approach, and what we're trying to do isn't pre-weaken a structure and just hit it with a little bit of explosives to knock it down. And because of our unique strategy here, what we have is a 50-year track record of proving safety of the people. And we can bring in better safety requirements to the explosive demolition industry. We can improve the overall safety of the demolition industry by keeping people out of harm's way. And we can bring an approach that aligns with the communities and the local nearby stakeholders that they are impacted by this, but we're going to do our best to mitigate that and work with them on developing that overall plan and program.
We are both second-generation explosives people. How many people are in that position, running their own companies, successfully building our businesses? Anthony's main thing is in mining. He comes from a larger part of the explosives industry. So do I, but a very different one. So we're bringing all those skills and the knowledge and the know-how of how you can use explosives from the bigger industry, and then bringing it into this tiny niche, this really super specialist but very high-profile part of the explosives industry. I look at myself as coming from the explosives industry more than the demolition industry. This year, my son is going to be going over and working on a job with them.
Absolutely.
And he'll be the third generation, learning those skills, getting his hands dirty and developing. And something we were talking about yesterday, people watch all these cool videos online and they say, oh, that's brilliant, I'd love to do it. They don't realize that they can. They think that this is a closed thing for them, this is a dream. But actually there are opportunities. The industry needs people. We need to be able to pick and choose the best people from a large group. And at the moment, you know, only a few people pick up the phone, write and say, hey, how do I get into this? And why is that? It's because they just don't realize that it's an opportunity for them, that it is a real thing. And that's what we need to be doing. Ron is always talking about training and teaching.
Why does this team work so well? Is because we can obviously bounce that technology, those thought processes, out of the box to each other and pitch it to ourselves, practice at home before we go public. But the bottom line is, I'm looking for you to step up. Step up.